Hi, I'm Chris Callahan with University of Vermont Extension and the Northeast Center to Advance Food Safety. We're here today at Olivia's garden in New Gloucester, Maine to talk hydroponics and produce safety. We're visiting today with Elizabeth Lobozzo at Olivia's garden. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Can you give us a little bit of background? How'd the farm get started and where are we?
So we are located in Pineland Farms. We started around 2005. We are a half-acre year-round hydroponic greenhouse. So I actually started here in 2009. It was a summer job in high school, and then pretty much I just kept coming back for the summers, my summer breaks, and then once I graduated with my bachelor's, I never left. I'm educated from years of experience. I have a communications major, and I just fell in love with it, and I just like having the community and growing food and having a job where I can move around. I like that aspect of it. In 1997, Scott Howard, he started basically growing tomatoes hydroponically in his barn in New Gloucester, and then basically the guy that is in charge of Pineland, he kind of sought him out, and he was known throughout the community because everybody bought their tomatoes from him. And so basically they made a deal with him, invited him in, gave him basically full range of design to do the greenhouse. And then we've just been leasing it ever since. We started with completely just tomatoes. We were all just beefsteak tomatoes. And then Backyard Farms came around, but that kind of created a little bit of competition, and we decided to start doing some leafy greens. So we started bib lettuce and basil, and then we realized that that's pretty profitable because of the turnover. So basil is our bread and butter, and then we do some cut lettuce and pea shoots. This is pretty much the lettuce, just this section of lettuce, and then we have, you could call them like nursery ponds. It's just all of the stuff that's recently seeded. Do a pre-harvest assessment. We do look for any signs of animals. The bird, we noticed. So right now, like this week, for instance, everybody's on the lookout for droppings. Yeah. And if that were to happen, we would quarantine the area, get rid of the plant, and then clean that area thoroughly. Every morning, they're trained to make sure there's no signs of mice droppings or caterpillar droppings, anything like that. Some of the stuff that I worry about might be more, like I worry about the manhole covers. Like I've looked for a manhole cover that doesn't have a hole in it. Like it's super hard to find those. So I worry about like water dripping and then people walking through and like that going into the drain. So, and how to prevent those things. What do you do? Are there grants for that? Those are the types of things like I'm looking at. So I'd say probably every 3 months I'll do a dump. Okay. Just to refresh the water. It's probably something I should be doing right now for the temperature. Gotcha. But that's about it. Yeah. But I am curious as to I've always been wondering what that means for agriculture water, or surface water, because it is coming out and then going back in. So those are the questions I have. I keep on wondering where that's gonna.
And we're wondering too.
Yeah.
So you're not alone. So you've got the water inlet on that side.
Yeah. So I'll turn the valve.
Okay.
I turn the valve off. So before I even gather stuff, first thing in the morning, I turn the water off. So basically, this whole line is off from here to here. And it'll be about probably 10 minutes until I get to it. So what we do is we pick the first 3 off of every gutter. See, that's about right there.
Yep.
For the basil harvest, they're harvesting them one at a time into the sleeve. So there's not a lot of crossing with that. And they're putting it in the box. I'm in hydroponics because it's year-round. And year-round we can basically farm and provide food for the community. I think my biggest questions are about the water and how that's going to affect basically our practices moving forward, and also just the cost of that, and how to plan for how our regulations, like the water regulations, how that's going to change sort of how we do everything and the money that we're spending, and sort of how it changes designing greenhouses in the future. I think that like what you guys are doing is really important, because people who are thinking about building their own, they need to be thinking about those things, like, and having foresight so they can do it all right the first time. Yeah. Because I think, there just hasn't been a blueprint for that. I don't feel like there are a whole lot of resources for hydroponic. I mean, even if you're looking on the internet, it's like the most basic information. So there's not a lot of sharing or anything universal. I think actually Crop King is one of the biggest. I feel like they have a lot of information on their website. Yeah. But yeah, there's no like place to just go and be like, hey, how does this person do these things? I guess I feel like sometimes, especially with hydroponics, like I think in the beginning it's easier to, it's such a stupid line, but like definitely think about how to work smarter. Like think about what you're doing and how you can maximize like your energy and your people. Because I think it's easy to make impulsive decisions like based on like diseases, and I think also just like reaching out to resources like the University of Maine. Just like ask questions about diseases and bugs, and because those have been the biggest things as like the beneficial insects. Those save a lot of time. Yeah. So those are a big thing.
Thanks for joining us on our visit with Elizabeth Lobozzo at Olivia's Garden in New Gloucester, Maine. This video is part of a project focused on produce safety in hydroponics and aquaponics funded by the USDA NIFA Food Safety Outreach Program. For more information, check out go.uvm.edu/ponics.